All right, welcome back, and thank you so much indeed for staying with us. It's a little after 7:30. Let's take a look at your news headlines for this hour. Zimbabwe's military says it's engaging President Robert Mugabe in talks on the way forward for the country and that it will advise the nation on the outcome as soon as possible. The statement was broadcast on Zimbabwean television following yesterday's meeting between President Robert Mugabe and the army commander. The president has been under house arrest since soldiers seized control of the country earlier this week. Photos of the meeting released by the Zimbabwean government show Mugabe and a team of negotiators that also included 2 South African government ministers representing the SADC. The SADC has also called for an urgent summit to discuss the crisis in Zimbabwe. All right, let us once again cross back to our reporter Mike Maringa at the Beit Bridge border post. As you might have seen what transpired during a previous crossing, the situation becoming volatile, but we have him back on the line. Michael, good morning to you once again. I see that you now back to your initial position. Talk to us, what happened? What was the main reason behind what happened earlier?
Morning once again, Palesa. We must apologize to our viewers. What transpired here was beyond our control. A few seconds before we went on air, 2 police officers, a sergeant and a warrant officer, came. They went to our camera lady, Vanessa. They were shoving her around, telling her to move the camera away from where we are standing, saying that she cannot, we cannot face the entry point. We are not allowed. She was trying to reason with them, but they couldn't take any of that, and ultimately she had to give in and change the direction of the camera to point at the nearest taxi rank. And I also had to move around and get to the front of the lens. But when we were busy continuing with what we were doing again, the warrant officer took off his cap and closed the lens. That is how the confrontation started. Immediately after the interview, again, there was a bit of a commotion, and people who are working here, mostly meter taxi drivers and the hawkers, came in their numbers. They were on our side, saying that police must move away. They must allow us to do our work. But the background to the story is that yesterday we were on the same spot. Another officer, Mr. Mandaha, said we are not allowed to film here without permission. He took us in, we went to his seniors, we were granted permission. They said we cannot film from inside, and that is exactly what we did. We got permission, we told them that we'll be crossing for Morning Life, and the permission was granted. And also, after the commotion and the confrontation, their senior came here, and he indicated to the 2 officers that we do have permission to film here. The confrontation was necessary. They should not have done what they did. And just before we went on air now, the officer who's in charge, the police officer who's in charge of this entry point, came to us saying that she received a call from the national office. She's coming here to intervene. She heard that we were shoved and pushed around. So immediately after this crossing, we'll be going to her office to give us the side, to give her our side of the story.
Yeah, as you've been emphasizing that you do have permission, Mike, as you were at the very same position yesterday. So did you get a sense maybe from the senior officials within the SAPS that something will indeed be done to those police officers who blocked your way and who distracted you and who harassed you and the camera lady Vanessa Langa while you were guys busy doing what you get paid to do?
Yeah, I think having been approached by someone who said she received a call from the national office, I think they are going to take steps against the 2 officers, because what they should have done was to call their senior who was in the office, who said to me that he was called by someone in the province to say that there is a commotion at the gate, and as the officer in charge, they wanted answers as to what exactly is happening, because by the look of things and the picture that they were getting was that we were reporting from outside the border, and there was no need for a commotion, there was no need for a confrontation. We'll only find out when we get to the office now as to what kind of steps are they going to take against the officers, because we did have permission, we got permission yesterday. They knew that we were here. And I tried to reason with them to say that, but the senior officer who was in charge yesterday gave us permission, and the answer I got was that it is a new shift, there's a new rule, we are not allowed to be here. But interesting enough, the people who came to support us are alleging that the officers don't want our cameras to face there because there are some illegal transitions that are happening there. The allegations are that the officers, some of the officers who are there are soliciting something from the motorists who are coming from the Zimbabwean side, and that is the reason why they don't want us to point our camera at the gate. But those remain allegations. But if you look at the attitude that they came with, it's something that I cannot deny. It's something that I might not rebut because it was uncalled for. It was not necessary for them. If they had a problem with us, they should have waited for us to finish the broadcast and then came and tried to address this matter.
All right, indeed, very unacceptable, Mike. But just a quick one, update us on the latest. How's the situation currently?
Look, the situation looks normal again. We had a lot of people in the morning who were moving to Musina and other parts. But at around 10 o'clock or so, the movement is going to dry up because we've got very few vehicles. The cars that you see here at the border, it's only meter taxi drivers and taxis that are trying to ferry people. But they've been queuing for long because there are no people, there are very few people that are coming from Zimbabwe. And from the South African side, it's worse because vehicles that we used to see on daily basis passing to Zimbabwe are not here at all. It's only trucks. But one other thing that people have been saying in the morning is that they are still in the dark. They don't know what's happening at the other side. They don't know if it is safe to move back to Zimbabwe. They are relying on us to give them the latest if ever they can move to Zimbabwe and if they is safe, because it will not be safe for them to move back home when there is still if the situation remains the same and they don't know if there will be change in what has been happening in the past few days.
All right, Mike, viewers are indeed relying on you for the latest, and hopefully that you'll be able to carry out your duties without any fear or favor. And big ups to you, Mike Maringa, and the camera lady, Vanessa Langa, for giving us the latest live from the Beit Bridge border post in Limpopo. All right,